What's up, Snap survivors? I am Tasha Pierce. This is After the Snap, a virtual refugee camp for everyone affected by Thanos' snap. And yep, I'm coming to you once again live from the closet because last week's audio nightmare was because I did not record my episode in the closet. And I was getting a lot of the feedback bounce back off the walls from my bedroom. So lesson learned. I apologize for the bad audio, and I will continuously now sit my butt in the closet when it's time to record. So thank you for bearing with me. I hope you enjoyed the last episode as we talked about the Endgame trailer, and I'm still very excited. Lots of hype still surrounding that trailer. And I want to tell you about something that I missed. Remember when I was talking to Davina during the episode, I said there is no way I caught everything. And I was watching some content on YouTube from the new rock stars who I told you I listened to, or I watched their videos kind of often. But I wanted to make sure to watch their video after I had already done my content for Avengers Endgame. I didn't want to be didn't want to feel like I plagiarized anybody's content. So I watched the trailer at least 100 times, went through, made my notes, watched again, went through, made more notes, watched again. So you know how that could work out. And felt pretty good about having caught most of the big things in the trailer. But there was one little thing I missed, and I'm going to tell you about it as soon as I talk about subscribe, share, rate, and review. That's still on, everybody. Subscribe, share, rate, and review. I'm very happy that I've got the audience that I have. I would like for the audience to grow, the family to get a little bigger. And the only way that I can do that is with your help. By subscribing to the podcast and not just listening, that also kind of moves up iTunes' funky little algorithm that they have going on. They will move me up in the ranks because I have subscribers, ratings, and reviews. So if you guys are doing your part, I'm going to continue to do my part. And then the sharing comes in because, you may find a little value in the content, and you also may not know who's lurking on your friends list somewhere who may also find value in the content, and make the show available to them as well so that we can grow together. How about that? Oh, oops, sorry about that. Also, Patreon support. If you'd like to make a donation, become a patron to After the Snap, you can do that at patreon.com/afterthesnap. We have tiers starting as low as $1 per month, and our highest tier right now is $20 per month. So if you'd like to find yourself guest hosting on one of our future episodes, or if that's not your style, me and you might be able to negotiate something else if you don't feel comfortable guest hosting one of the episodes. But yeah, you can find yourself doing that if you become a Patreon supporter. If you do not want to commit yourself to a once a month donation, we will always take one-time donations at PayPal. That's paypal.me/afterthesnap. And again, it'll be the same kinds of perks that I give to our Patreon supporters. I will give you the Survivor shout out, and I also will try to throw a little something extra in for my PayPal supporters. So those are the ways that you can help. These are the ways that you can find us. You can go to After the Snap on Facebook. Join the Snap Survivors group. That's where it all goes down. You can also find me on Twitter at SnapAfter. And you can go to Instagram at After the Snap 2018. And if all else fails, you can catch me at afterthesnap@gmail.com to leave me your feedback. Tell me what you think of the shows, the episodes. Give me ideas for future episodes. I would love, love, love to hear it. Okay, so now, moving on, I'm going to tell you about the other little tidbit that was uncovered in the Endgame trailer. Some of you may have heard of it already. It has to do with the stinger, where Ant-Man is at the door ringing the buzzer saying, "Hey, buzz me in," If you look in the upper left-hand corner of the monitor that Black Widow and Captain America are watching him on, you will see that it says stat, which I determined to mean status, and then it says archive, and then it has a year. Now the year is not, it's kind of fuzzy. You can't really see it, but it has been speculated that it says stat, archive, and the year is 1983, which makes a whole lot of difference when you think of how Cap says, is this an old video? Because 1983 was a long time before the events of Infinity War. So we see Ant-Man standing there. We see the van indicating that he has the device that he can go back and forth through the quantum realm in. So is it possible that Davina was correct, that Ant-Man really was still in the quantum realm? You can also even see a difference between the unpaved driveway that he's standing on outside of the Avengers headquarters. I doubt that things would have gotten that bad after Thanos' snap. Could he be standing on that unpaved drive up prior to this building becoming Avengers headquarters? So, good questions. Somebody with a very eagle eye noticed that on the New Rockstars team, and we thank them for that, because now that is just one more thing to speculate about. It's just one more thing. And then to add a little fuel to that, just a little tiny bit of fuel to that, I am going to continuously remind us that Tony Stark's dad in the Avengers 2 movie the Iron Man 2 movie that we just watched, continuously says, Tony is the key to the future. This is the key to the future. This is the key to the future. And I'm going to get those sound bites, and in a future episodes, I'm going to play it and see if that kind of also gives you vibes that his dad had some type of knowledge about the future. So, stopping there with all Endgame talk, because we did that. Yeah, we did that the other day. I don't want to make this whole episode a rehash of that, but I did want to bring that to everyone's attention. If you saw that, leave me a comment, send me an email, or get in contact with me in one of the ways that I mentioned at the top of the show, and let me know what your opinion, what you think that means. If you didn't notice it, but you, after this episode, you go back and you take a second look at the trailer, or a third or a 400th look at the trailer, and you spot that, let me know what you think that means. That will be a good topic for our Snap Survivors group. So you know that this weekend we've got Thursday I've got Into the Spider-Verse. That's what I'm going to see on Thursday. And then Saturday I'm going to see Aquaman. This past weekend I went to go see Bumblebee. And I wanted this whole episode to be about Bumblebee. And what my plan was to take my handy dandy digital audio recorder and get audience reactions after the show. And then I found out it was heavily frowned upon to take a digital audio recorder into an early screening. I almost went to AMC jail. And that's one place I don't need to be, is in AMC jail, because I got all these movies that I want to see, and I cannot have bad blood between me and AMC. When I say they checked everything, they checked everything. And I wasn't intending on doing anything illegal, like taping audio from the movie. I simply wanted to tape audience reactions after the movie, and that was going to be the totality of this episode. And the gentleman with the briefcase at the door of the movies, who searched everybody who went in and made us all turn off our phones, yeah, that guy, he told me no reactions. So you're going to get my reaction. And my reaction to Bumblebee is that you must see this movie. It has everything that you could want in a Transformers movie is present in this movie. You've got the Generation 1 Transformers, so I'm not giving you anything there, spoilery. You've got a good look at Cybertron. Nothing spoilery there. We saw that in the trailers. We really get a good feeling for Bumblebee's character, and by that I mean where he started and how he became the character that we've seen in movies of late. So and it can be heartbreaking at times, very emotional. It can be funny. It can be full of action. And I think that everyone will like what Travis Knight, what his vision for Bumblebee and the Transformers franchise, what his vision is. I think Transformers fans can appreciate how he sees the movie. He did an excellent job. I won't go into anything in specifics. I'm just going to say that, let's say on my regular scale of 1 to 5, I'm going to give it a 4. And there are reasons for the 4. And we'll get into the reasons when we decide to talk about this in a spoilerific way. And that'll be after I've given everybody a chance to get to the movies and see it. But I promise you, it will be worth it. Go see Bumblebee. Okay, so hopefully that helps somebody. So, today's episode was basically going to be the Bumblebee episode, but since, like I said, since I was threatened with AMC prison, I'm gonna go ahead and make the whole episode, the biggest part of the episode, about the Brightest Star short track. So, this episode of Short Treks was going over Saru's origin. So on this short trek, we go to Saru's homeworld. Now, if you remember, if you watched Star Trek Discovery, Saru is the first officer of the USS Discovery. He is a Kelpian, and he is the only one of his species in Starfleet. So that's where we met him in Discovery. So now here we're going to prior to his Starfleet days. So we go to Saru's homeworld, Kaminar. Of course, he's the only Kelpian member of Starfleet, and I always couldn't help but wonder why. Well, in the Brightest Star, we find out. We learn that the Kelpians have come to accept being a prey race. They have assigned a religious property to being chosen by the Ba'ul, their natural predator. They feel that by going willingly with the Ba'ul, who are going to basically eat them, they are helping to sustain the natural balance in society. And I couldn't help but giggle at balance, because it gives me Thanos vibes. But anyway, Saru can find no honor in being sacrificed to the Baul. He is naturally inquisitive, and his curiosity tends to get him in trouble. His father, Aradar, scolds him often for questioning the order of things and cautions him against continuing to do so. But Saru's questions are valid. He wonders why his people won't try to negotiate with the Baul and learn how they engineer their technology so that Kelpians become equals to them. So the Baul arrive from the stars in a ship, so Kelpians naturally see death arriving when they look in the sky. So again, we can go back to Discovery where we learn that Saru can sense death. He has ganglia on the back of his head that kind of rise up when a threat is present. So when they look into the sky, they don't generally see beauty. They feel a threat because the Baul come from the sky. So Kelpians see death arriving when they look in the sky, except Saru. He sees hope. And when a communications device falls from a Baul ship, Saru hides it. When he's alone, he teaches himself to engineer a beacon, and he sends out a cosmic hello. Days later, he receives a message back. And after communicating back and forth with his newfound friends, Saru and his sister take an evening walk together. And as they stroll, Saru is looking expectantly into the night sky. His sister reminds him to look down sometimes because there is also beauty to be found there. And later, after they've walked and chatted for a while, she suggests that they head home. Saru just sends her on her way, saying he wants to stargaze a little while longer. So when she leaves, a ship drops out of warp and lands close to Saru's location. From the ship emerges Philippa Georgiou, who we know to be the first captain of the USS Discovery that we met in Discovery's first season, first episode. So she's been the person that had been communicating with Saru. And she invites him to join her because he showed a very high intellect, inquisitiveness, curiosity. He showed all the things that is necessary to be a good Starfleet officer just by re-engineering this device to ask to say hello, not knowing what answer he would get back, So she invites him to join her, but reminds him that he'll never be able to return to Kaminar because it's a pre-warp society, and tampering with them would violate the Prime Directive. Saru turns and takes a look at his planet and chooses to join Starfleet because doing so is choosing hope. And that is the episode. That is where the episode ends, rather. And one of the things that I can say about this episode is that watching the episode, I didn't hit a lot of the places where it begins truly sad. The Kelpians, the highlight of their life is to be sacrificed to the Baul, and it's only that way because the Baul have the means to come and take them one way or the other. So if they figure if they go willingly, it's not upsetting the Baul, and it also is keeping the rest of the society, their civilization, safe by not fighting the Baul. So obviously no one really asked any questions how Saru was born with this curious nature is beyond me. His father, Eridar, is the kind of like the religious leader, and they have again assigned a religious kind of outlook on being chosen by the Baul to be eaten. And they say that you should be honored to do that for your society. And Saru said there has to be a better way. And that's why I felt so sad watching it in the beginning. And I actually, those feelings never changed. I could not watch this episode again, and it wasn't because it wasn't a good episode. And as you know, the short treks are this one was only a little over 15 minutes long, I believe. So it's not taking a lot of time out of my day. I felt uncomfortable with the amount of despair I felt for Saru and for his people. And I just had no desire to watch it twice. So what you guys got, the reason why my synopsis lacked a lot of detail is because I wrote it off of one watch. Usually I'll watch something more than once before I try to write a synopsis, and I couldn't. And again, I'm telling you that it is a good episode. So if you have CBS All Access and you want to watch this episode, by all means do it, and you may not get the same depressing feeling that I got. I don't know, something about something resonated with me, and I can't quite put my finger on why I felt so hurt watching this episode. And even him leaving, after you see that he has this relationship with his dad where his dad is resigned to the fate of what's been happening to the Kelpian society with as far as the Baul is concerned, and but you get the feeling that his dad loves him and he loves his dad. And then you see this relationship with his sister, and he loves his sister, and they seem to be very close. And the only way he was going to make something of himself is to leave them forever, to be in a position where he would never be able to see his family again. But he rose through the ranks of Starfleet and became the first officer of the USS Discovery. And his family can't even be proud of him. In fact, they wouldn't be proud of him because it would be dishonorable that he left. Instead of sacrificing himself to the Baul, he left. And they would not find any honor in that. And I think that kind of just, don't know why it hit a nerve. I don't know if it reminds me of the place that I'm from, maybe. It could. Or I don't know. But tell me what you think. What did you, by hearing the synopsis for this movie, or for this episode of Short Treks, tell me if it's something that you think you would like to see. If you have seen this episode, tell me how it made you feel. Because, something about this one just hit home a little too hard. I liked the episode, but it was too, I guess it was too personal. And I can't figure out why. So, telling you guys that I'm trying to be transparent here. I cannot figure out why that felt that way. So that was Star Trek Short Trek, The Brightest Star. So that, I guess that can kind of wrap this episode. But before we go, the same reminders that I gave you at the top of the episode. This one is a short one. The reminders that I gave you at the top of the episode were to join us on Facebook. After the Snap is the page, and then join the group Snap Survivors. And I think I may even include this as a question for my Snap Survivors group. And if you missed it on the last episode, Rachel Nelson broke the trailer to me because me and my insomnia, I took 3 sleeping pills because I'm like, I have not been able to sleep. So I just really wanted to just crash so I could get up early the next day. Took 3 sleeping pills and I slept till probably about 3 o'clock the next afternoon. I got up briefly and talked to Davina because she called me, but it was after Rachel had already posted it in the Snap Survivors group, the trailer. But she called me to make sure I had seen it, and I had not because I probably overdid it with the sleeping pills. So I promise, no more 3 sleeping pill nights. I won't do that again. So, we talked about After the Snap on Facebook and the group Snap Survivors. Go to Twitter at Snap After. Go to Instagram After the Snap 2018. Go to Patreon, patreon.com/afterthesnap. You can paypal.me/afterthesnap for a one-time donation. And if you just want to talk, afterthesnap@gmail.com. How about that? I gave you everything. And I've given you an episode in less than 30 minutes. So, since there's nothing else. Rating, review at iTunes. Share the show with all your buddies. Since there's nothing else, I guess I'll catch you on the flip. Thanks for joining me.